purpose of this video is to introduce you to Done Knockin' Boots Mia Moore, aka Amauri. She's been in our program. Actually, Bliss got her as a long yearling direct from Colorado, and so she's been with us for a while. We've enjoyed this filly a lot. She's a Gruya in color, and she's out of some really great breeding. Her daddy is Done Got It All, and her mama is Boogie Nights, and both her daddy and her mama have some really great breeding. This filly has been trail ridden, and we've really enjoyed riding her on the trail. Her color is the most interesting thing. She's got the primitive markings across her withers and a full dorsal stripe, and you can see the zebra squiggles that she has on her butt cheeks and down her legs. This filly has been ridden pretty extensively in Tennessee and then here in South Carolina, so a good balance in her training and in our program. Bliss and I do the balance work and a lot of work in the ring to make a refined or a more refined horse before we send them out of here. But we also put a lot of time on these horses on the trail. You can see this mare has some really great rhythm, and this is my ring area at this farm that's forever under construction. It's not a fancy ring, and this is some floor matting that we rolled out for the barn we were building, and you can see she just zigzags in and out of it. Really maintains a lot of balance in her gait. This is an easy mare to ride. You don't have to know much about gaited horses to really enjoy your ride on this filly. Really like the frame this mare carries when she travels. Very balanced, good rhythm. Her tail carriage is perfect, good and straight. And you can see the rhythm comes from her neck out the end of her nose. So she's just got a lot of balance and a lot of rhythm. My ring has a downhill area here, so if they can gait and balance like this in my ring area, which is just a designated part of the yard right now, they can maintain that going downhill and that kind of balance with the divots and the dips in the yard in this area that I've fenced off. They can really do some amazing work in a ring, but they really can maintain this gait in their, on any kind of terrain on the trail, and that's really what we're looking for. You can see how easy she is to ride, barely in her mouth. I ride her in a ring snaffle and a wonder bit, and here she's just in the ring snaffle. She's been through water, pretty big, pretty deep water up in Tennessee, and literally just today on the 11th, I took her for a play day at Croft, here in South Carolina at Croft Park, and you can see she stands still for somebody with a real bad hip to get up on. And we just showed up. There's a nice ring area there, and we kind of went for a play day. We have just working on some of the refined lateral movements, and we were talking a lot, and she was standing still, paying attention, hanging out with other horses she'd never met before, and you can see she really remembered and performed with the lateral movement that we've been working on. So again, the trail horse, some refinement, and just really great focus on her gait. So this is the bridge up in Tennessee. It's an elevated bridge. In fact, if you're afraid of heights, it's a little bit nerve-wracking to go across. That chain link along the side of the bridge actually starts singing, and the more horses that go across the bridge, the more that chain link makes noises. And you can see this was her first time across the bridge, and about halfway across, I just started riding her one-handed again, and she's fine. She's got it. This is typical of this filly. She's just very accepting of new things, new challenges that you put in front of her. But she's really born to be a trail horse and take you to all those places that you want to see. She goes up, down, around, or through anything. And then to boot, she's pretty, and to boot on top of that, she's got a really great gait. So you can just see she went on across like an old trail horse, and no big deal. She's been tied. Again, this horse has been ridden extensively on trails, so she ties when you take a lunch. What's great about this horse is the obstacles that you work on and things you work on in the ring translate to what you're going to encounter out in the ring or at a show. And so she just handles everything. And again, what you work on in the ring and in her training translates to real life. You can just see me riding along, one-handed. She's in a ring snaffle here. And there's that nice loose and shaky head nod that we like to see in these foxtrot horses. It's just very natural. She's very naturally gaited. I'm not a roper, don't claim to be one. I probably get a lot of criticism for form, and frankly, every time I can catch, I'm kind of surprised. But wanted to see that you can throw a rope off of her and catch. And while she's not ready to dally yet, you can see she's got the patience to do that. And when this calf went to buck and carrying on, she didn't mind it at all. She's just very sensible. This is an obstacle I created last weekend. Added some construction materials left over. That was our first time going across it, and no issue. Like I said, this place is sort of like a construction area with rock piles right now. We're doing a lot of different things here, so she encounters all kinds of noise, equipment. I don't know why I thought she might hesitate or look at this obstacle. I thought I was making up an obstacle that would be a challenge for her, and it wasn't. This is a pretty steep descent, and a couple of things that Bliss and I really focus on is on the trail, good, calm, quiet horse, obviously gaiting well, but also handling the rough terrain well. So we work really hard with these horses, going uphill the right way, not rushing uphill, but going up the right way, and then also in this rocky terrain, really getting them to the point that they're safe. They're very intentional with their foot placement and their descent, and that they're not rushing downhill, and that they're using their back end to hold them back and keep them steady going downhill. My saddle actually slipped here. I don't know if you can see that, but it actually slipped and moved forward a little bit, and she handled it like a champ. You can see I'm a little bit more forward than I'd like to be, but it wasn't a good place to stop. There were a bunch of horses in front, a bunch of horses behind, and so we just went to the bottom of the hill, and she just handled it again like an old trail horse. You can see she's methodically, thoughtfully picking her feet up and putting them in the right place. She's not worried about the horses in front or the horses behind. She's just doing the job she's supposed to do. And that's very, very important to us with these young horses that work through the program we have. I'm going to have to tell her she's a good girl, because she is. This is a recent weekend, sometime in the last 2 weekends that I've ridden at Fell Camp here in South Carolina. I wanted you to see that I'm riding with my dear friend Cindy and her horse Stetson. And Cindy asked if she could go ahead and gate out, and I said, sure, go ahead. And so you can see Amauri is just hanging back. I'm riding her one-handed, loose. She's not trying to catch up. She's not hollering. And this is what's great about this filly, is her sensibility. She just does what you ask her to do when you ask her to do it. So she's going along low-headed here. She's not worried. She's not getting in a rush. You can see there's no other horses back here keeping her company. It's just me and her buddy Stetson is way out in front of her. The reins are on her neck, and no worries. This is a different bridge. This is a brand new bridge, actually, and she's leading across, just going on across, checking it out. And there's Cindy and Stetson. Just another picture of her tying on the trail when we stopped for lunch. Again, this is a real trail horse. And some more footage of her coming uphill. There were quite a few horses that went out ahead, and she wasn't worried about it. This is a video in the Spruce Creek community in the Jamestown, Tennessee area, and you can just see I'm riding her one-handed in a ring snaffle. We're gating along, just that great smooth gait. I was filming somebody else's horse, and you can see there's a mailbox, there's an electrical box. This is, all kinds of stuff that could spook a young horse, and she's all business. She'll get it done. This horse's transitions are great upward and great downward transitions. You can see she has a slow walk or a trail walk. She's really ready if somebody wants to take her in the versatility arena. She's set in her trail walk or a dog walk. She rides like a Western pleasure horse, and that's how I tend to ride. This mare has a really great neck rein, And you can just see she works off leg pressure, neck rein. I added PVC pipes to my noodles that hang down. You can see them in a different frame here. But that PVC pipe whopped her in the head and took her a second and just on through. So you can change things up on her and she's just fine. These are some telephone poles that I keep set up for these young horses to get used to picking their feet up and going over things. You can see I'm working her again in the ring snaffle part of the wonder bit. And this is a brand new trail challenge that I put up. I have done this at a couple different obstacle trail events, cowboy races. I think I actually did this in the Versatility Arena in one of the association shows years ago. But this pinwheel is one of my favorite obstacles to do. This was her first time doing it. I just got these barrels. And this is where her neck rein half halts to keep her at the right speed. And her good neck rein comes into play. And so this is our first time doing it. And we executed it correctly. And of course, these are 55-gallon drums, so I just got to see if I can spook her a little bit, and you can't. We've shot guns around this horse, and she's quiet around pretty much everything you put her in. There's some footage out there of me running the air hose from the air compressor on her. Boom, right on through the noodles and the PVC pipe. You can just see that you really can ride this horse with the neck rein and go straight on down the middle of an obstacle, and she's just in your hand. She's got a good handle on her. Again, one of the best fillies I think Bliss and I have had that just picks up the neck rein and the working off the leg pressure. Bliss went all the way to Colorado, went all the way to a breeder in Colorado to buy this horse, and has had her, like I said, since she was a long yearling. And so just a lot of desensitization, exposure, and when you put the time in with a young horse, even before you're riding them, and spend a lot of time with the desensitization and just spending time with them, you get a well-behaved horse like this. The lean-to to the left behind the pickup truck is where my horse stalls are. There's 2 or 3 horses in there. When we were doing this, you can see the end of my ring is open. She could just go in there if she wanted to. She's well behaved. This is a tight space, and I'd probably tell some people with a young horse not to do this. But I wanted to show you that whatever situation you put this horse in, tight situation, loud situation, you can get the job done. She's very, very well behaved and just so willing to do anything you ask her to do. I don't claim to be any kind of working cow horse trainer, but I do like to move cows and push cows a little bit. There's other footage of her moving a much larger group and staying calm and quiet, pinning her ears at the cows. And this is a great way to train up or change up your training program with young horses so they don't get bored or sour on just gating around the ring. And again, you can just see this filly. She's kind of getting the hang of tracking a cow and speeding up when they speed up, moving and crossing over. You can see using both hands, but mostly a neck rein. And she's coming over, crossing over in front of her. This is a filly you can go team penning on Wednesday nights, trail riding, or horse showing on Saturday nights, and trail riding on Sunday mornings. She's just an all-around good filly, and thanks so much for your interest.